This is a very special edition of Squawk Box. NBC News now officially projecting that Donald Trump has won the presidency. Joining us right now is pollster and political strategist Frank Luntz. We've been talking to Frank now for many months in the days and weeks leading up to what's been an historic moment, Frank. And before we even just get into it, I wanted to get your biggest takeaway and maybe perhaps surprise, given I'm not sure that as we've been talking, that this was not the outcome, I think, on the Electoral College map, but maybe even on the popular vote that you were expecting.
And when we'd know, which was not supposed to be till Saturday.
So how come you didn't compliment me 4 years ago when I did it?
Or
exactly
8 years ago when it said Hillary Clinton will be the next president? I don't know, Frank. I think a lot of what you've been saying the last couple of weeks I've disagreed with. I have. I just have. And I disagree with you saying that if Kamala had changed a few things that she would have won. I disagree with that. The country was not ready. And I don't think she was ever in the lead. But Andrew, it's your interview. Go ahead.
Frank, well, just to the extent, I'm curious, on a morning like this, to the extent that anybody who is hopefully thinking about this is trying to be introspective about where they were right and where they were wrong, how do you think about it?
I think that the debate didn't matter. And that's the single thing that bothers me the most. And that's the
not
one
even
that
the cat eating? Not even the cat eating you're almost crying about, Frank?
No, it's a surprise to me that the public and Joe, you, that it didn't bother you. And it doesn't bother the public. But the public has spoken. And what's impressive about this is that Donald Trump is able to survive an onslaught of criticism through much of this campaign, and not only survive, but thrive. That he's going to win the popular vote, which I did not expect, that he's going to win all the swing states, which nobody knew, that in fact, not only is he winning, but he's bringing a Senate with him and likely a House with him. This is significant.
And so what does that say, Frank, so as somebody who's been in this business a long time, what does that say to you about either the strength of Trump as a candidate and as a communicator, the weakness, perhaps, of Vice President Harris as a candidate and communicator? Does it say something more broadly about the country and policy and the way they're thinking about this, the different parties? How do you break that down?
It's all three. Andrew, you're correct in all three cases that Donald Trump's support was so intense that it did not matter what people said about him. It did not matter what happened at his rallies. It did not matter his debate performance. They were going to stay with him because they believe in him and they're committed to him. And that is half the country. Harris's campaign, in their inability or unwillingness to define exactly what they would do in the first hours, the first days, weeks, and months, that her unwillingness to level with the American people and explain why some of her issues have changed, demonstrated what a weak candidate she was. And in the end, it would have had to have been someone else, not her, who could have beaten Trump. And as far as the country's concerned,
Frank, there's going to be a lot of recriminations in the Democratic Party, probably starting with Biden and Harris. But my question is, do you think that Biden, therefore, should have stuck in this? Would have that been a different outcome?
They should have had a vote. The public had a right to choose. This is the first vice president or the first candidate for president, other than when you have, God forbid, an assassination. She had never put herself to the test. She had failed in 2020. This is probably the most important thing for viewers. Her one chance to run for president, she had done such a horrible job, and that she didn't improve after 4 years. But in the end, it's also the public's disdain for high prices, their disdain for insecurity at the border and across the country, and their demand that the last 4 years that they did not succeed, that they failed on the inflation and affordability, and that the public did not want 4 more years of it. In the end, it was the public saying enough with an exclamation point and all caps.